Hi, today I'm not going to do a role play. I will tell you a quick story and then some instructions on how to trigger ASMR within yourself without the use of a video or sound or images or even a situation. So, the story is my earliest memory of experiencing ASMR. I was about 9 years old when I was in class, elementary school. And there was this girl in class who was better at most subject matter than most people in school. And she would finish her assignments way before most of us. And the teacher would often ask her to go around the class and help us individually to finish our assignments and to understand them better. So at one point she came to help me. And she leaned over and she started whispering so that she wouldn't bother my neighbors. And then she pointed at my sketchbook and started writing in it. So the combination of her proximity, the sound of her voice, the personal attention, the scratching of the pencil, everything was a perfect ASMR combo for me. Even today, those are the kinds of situations that trigger it in me in real life. So that was my first time feeling it, and I thought, this is amazing. So every time someone would come to help me, I would hope for the feeling to happen, but it was very rare that it would. So about in the same school year, I was once again in a situation when I was trying really hard to focus in class, but it was very difficult because all my things had been confiscated. The teachers would not understand, despite my trying to explain, that I needed to be taking notes or sketching or doing something if I was to be able to listen and pay attention and focus and absorb the information. But they wouldn't believe me, or they just decided you gotta do like everybody else. You're gonna stay focused, you're gonna look forward, and you gotta listen. So I was either going to fall asleep or lose my mind or start yelling. And sometimes I did, because I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I decided eventually, kind of like I had no choice, to find a game, to invent a game, to try to focus somehow in class. It was either this or falling asleep. So I invented this game, which doesn't seem to make sense, but bear with me and try it for yourself. The goal of the game is to touch your two fingers together at a pinpoint accuracy. We're talking one cell on each side. No more, no less. And that feeling of hesitation between touching and not touching, that danger, if you can feel it, is what triggered it for me the first time. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but when I made the connection between that feeling that I had before and that triggering that happened, I started playing it more often and realized I had control over how strong it could get and where it would go. But at first I needed to do this to trigger it. So first let me explain what the feeling is, so you might have remembered it from somewhere in your past, and maybe you'll be able to trigger it in yourself just thinking about it. It's a sensation that's within the range between what I'm going to say. So imagine when you get outside and it's slightly cooler than inside, and you get a chill, a quick chill, not something bitter cold, but a quick chill that tells you, I should have brought a sweater. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is you feeling blushed or flushed because somebody just gave you a compliment in public, or you're feeling embarrassed and you're all red like a beet because you're embarrassed. I know that's a negative feeling, but the physical sensation is quite similar, except that there's a negative emotional component to it. Add to those physical feelings an electrical aspect, kind of like a buzz, or even a sizzle of electricity, a surge, at different levels, of course. And of course there's an emotional component, a relief, an excitement. So all of these things together are the ranges and flavors that form the barbecue sauce that ASMR can be for me. It's not quite barbecue, it's more like all dressed. If you know that flavor of potato chips, in North America it's quite common, but elsewhere I hear they don't even have it. Anyways, back to ASMR. So eventually I realized that I don't even need to do this. I just need to remember the feeling and the physical reaction will happen. So I don't even need to remember anymore. I just do it. It's a trigger. It's a sensation that I can trigger at will. And on top of that, I can send it anywhere I want in my body. So it's more difficult for me to send it to the extremities like fingers and toes, but it works. Eventually, you just practice and it works. So at first for me, my feelings are triggered between the base of my skull or base of my brain down to the middle of my back. And then it travels. And if I will it, it can go anywhere I want. If I don't will it, it'll just flush down and dissipate, which is quite pleasant too. But sometimes you need muscle. Like right now my shoulders are a bit stiff because I've been gesticulating and filming this for a while. So I would like some relief. So I'm just going to put my hands on my armchair and just send myself a shock. And I'll make it travel down my spine from my lower back. Now I'm going to do another. And it's hard not to smile because it's very pleasant. And making it travel up between my shoulder blades. And then it makes me want to arch my back and kind of like a cat waking up in the morning. It's wonderful. You should always study how the cats do it because they're masters of stretching and warming up. Anyways, you focus and you can actually gently coax it into going anywhere. Even within your head, you can use that for pain relief for a headache, for example. So it's quite pleasant and it really relieves tension. It's like it's shedding away the tension, as if it was shedding away a garment that was heavy, full of water. You know, something that make you feel uncomfortable. You just shed it away. You just release it. So it's great for releasing. So I hope that this can help you understand what it is. That feeling of hesitation between the two fingers. It's kind of like playing Jenga. You know, it's your turn to play, so you gotta play, but you're afraid that the tower will collapse. You're playing Operation. You're afraid to touch the sides because the buzzer will sound loudly and it's stressing you out. But it's fun at the same time because it's a fake danger. Your life is not in danger, but there's a thrill. I think the word is thrill. Yeah, I think that's the closest I can come up with. The excitement, the thrill of it is what triggers it for me in that specific physical, mechanical technique. So go for it. Just either use a technique as a way to start learning how it triggers or how you can trigger it, and then remember that feeling and the physical reaction will come. And then you can send it wherever you want. So I just wanted to share this with you because I think it can be very beneficial. And some people who say they don't feel ASMR might be able to get it finally. When I first watched the videos, I did not understand why I was watching. Somebody recommended it to me without explanation. They just told me, watch this, and then they left. So I did. I was curious. And I kept watching. At first, what is that? Why is it so strange? And why am I so fascinated? And eventually, I started feeling the buzz. But it took a while because I didn't remember that I could feel the buzz. And then I remembered, and I gave myself one shock. And from that moment on, I could feel the ASMR. So it might be a side effect. Because I can trigger it, nowadays I have to, most of the time, if I'm gonna be triggered, I have to trigger it first. That way it will expand my possibility, my range of being influenced by an ASMR video. If not, if I forget, it better be a really, really good video within my tight range of what triggers me for me to get triggered. But the rest of the time, if I really want to enjoy that ride, that wave of tingles, I just have to trigger it once. And then whatever I watch after that triggers that triggered one time, I'll probably get some tingles, some amounts of them at least. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, if you have any theories about why this is working, why it's not working, I think together we can come up with a way, with several ways for a lot of us to use this and maybe teach others as well. Because I think with more stress relief, I think this world will be a lot better. So there you go.